Hello, Anomaly here, and welcome to another Mistweaver commentary video. Today we are continuing our journey through Mythic Nighthold, and talking about the third boss in the instance, Trilliax. Trilliax is, of course, the cake boss, so lots of cakes everywhere, eating cakes, lots of cake memes, drops a cake trinket, which is really good for Mistweavers. Uh, so tons of memes all around abound on this boss. So let's jump right in and get to baking, cooking, whatever we want to do here. So I will say that up front, I actually really do not enjoy this boss fight. I think it's probably one of at least my personal least favorite fights in the instance, just because I don't think I'm very good at it. I think there's a lot I can do better, a lot of situational stuff I can do better. So let's kind of talk through it and kind of my thought process around it. So right up front, there's not a ton of damage going out. I like to eat the first set of cakes. Basically, I like to do mechanics here. So I'll eat every cake when it's up, keep track of my debuff with that big weak aura, and just continue to eat as many cakes as I can. You'll see that I'm holding both my cake trinket and chi burst here. I hold these normally for right before the spinny laser beam move, Annihilation I believe it's called. I hold it till then. He does some like AoE pulsing, and I like to keep those two abilities up for that area. So that's kind of the first thing you'll notice is I actually use Chi Burst slightly early, but I like to have it up for kind of this phase. So normally I have done that in the past. For the most part, though, this is kind of the first point where you're going to get to use Mana Tea. You're going to get to use Innervates if you can get them. All those type of kind of AoE healing abilities because there's a bunch of AoE healing going into here. Going into this, then we just kind of have a kind of a lull period, particularly if it's kind of the first phase here. You shouldn't have too much of the purple stuff in the middle, which is the only thing you're going to take damage from in this phase. So it's fairly simple. I just keep Rem on cooldown, Chi Burst through the raid, just kind of different things like that. You can see that my Shaylun stacks get really high, up to 9. Like I said, I don't fully grasp the healing in this fight. It just doesn't really suit me. The pattern isn't there. I can't really get it straight in my head, so it's just honestly, it's just kind of not very good play on my part. So here you can see like kind of continue just to get some heals out. I position myself out away from melee, normally behind melee, to pick up any cakes. They like to kind of move forward and get them. So Eat is kind of doing the mechanics here. Stole that cake from our shaman. But just kind of generally heal, right? Like I kind of try and stay away from the middle and kind of spread to the outsides. Is kind of how we do this. It just for me, I, I feel like I'm always out of range of everybody. There's really not a lot to heal, different things like that. So it might just be because in general, even on Mythic, Trilliax doesn't put out too much damage. It's really more of a mechanics fight, which I'm perfectly okay with. It's just for me, I'm just looking for more healing. So as you can see, we're heading into almost another annihilation phase. I don't use my Mana Tea. Should use Mana Tea for this. I end up getting an Innervate. It's a late Innervate. Should have got the Innervate at the start of his AoE phase, pretty much as the ad spawned, to kind of utilize the most out of that. But this is, of course, it's my first kill. It's the guild's second kill. I missed our first kill, so a little bit off with timings and things like that. So let's kind of continue. This is kind of where you see more of the AoE phase. There's a lot more purple in the middle, a lot less safe places to stand. So you're going to see me kind of try and put out more heals as needed. And the nice part about monks is that because of all of our movement abilities, we can get out to cakes and get back in and heal fairly quickly, which is why I feel like we should be pretty good at this fight. Just not, I'm just not feeling it. I'm wondering too. I mean, I'm in our raid set right now, so it's primarily crit and versatility. Potentially going more of a kind of 5-man, quote unquote 5-man build, more mastery, more haste, might produce some better numbers. Even running life cycles instead of miswrap, trying to do little things like that potentially do help just because there isn't a ton of AoE damage that goes out, and the additional mastery, being able to save some mana, flipping back between enveloping and vivifies probably potentially helps you better, right? So as you can see, that was the one AoE phase there from actually I believe that came from the ad. So I ended up dropping a Mana Tea back there to kind of heal people up, but for the most part, kind of trying to keep Rems on cooldown. Did a really bad job here. Rem kind of stayed off cooldown for a while, so that was definitely not the best use there. And we have again, a lot of people taking damage going into the Annihilation phase. What he does, his kind of AoE laser ability. So here's where, again, if you have the Innervates, if you have Mana Tea up, you can get some Essence Fall out, which is great, but I mean, potentially not exactly super useful. I could have ended up using my revival there at the beginning, but I believe we ended up calling for Trank at that point, so I kind of held on to my revival as needed, and you'll see that we potentially need it coming up here at the end of the fight. So other than that, I mean, the last remaining, the boss is at what, 15, 12% health right now. The last remaining part of this fight is pretty straightforward. We were well ahead on damage. We could sit on the boss and do as much damage to the boss as possible. So really, all we had to do was end up eating a couple cakes as they came out, and the boss would go down. I have a ton of mana left over. I think honestly, now that I kind of watch this and have watched this for kind of, this is like the third time I've kind of watched this video. I believe probably next week I'll end up running more of a mastery build, mastery haste build. There's where we miss a bomb and it explodes on the raid and a lot of us die. So I just kind of spam out essence fonts for the end here just to kind of top up as many people as I can. A lot of us end up going down though. So, but ultimately we do kill the boss, which is kind of the only thing that matters, but could have cleaned up that end part a little bit better. But like I said, I think this fight, at least for me, doesn't feel like very much of a like verse crit type build fight, more maybe of a haste mastery build, and maybe it's ultimately just because of the healers I heal with. So I'll potentially try it out next week. I'll let you guys know how it goes, either in the next video or maybe put a blog post. I don't know. I don't really know what I'm doing with that just yet, but. Other than that, that was Mythic Trilliax, probably one of my least favorite fights, and he happens to drop probably one of the best trinkets, so I'm at kind of odds with him, you could say. But anyway, thank you guys very much for watching. If you do have any questions or comments, you can leave them in the comments section below. You can also check me out at the Monk Discord. Just anomaly there. I'm pretty sure I'm the only one who misspells it like I do. But other than that, I hope you guys have a great rest of your day and keep killing bosses. Thanks.